everybody, it's Roxana, and it's that time of year where I always make elderberry syrup. And today I thought I would go over how I'm going to be making it, and a few basic ways. I've been standing here beside my oven, and I'm going to go over the basic recipe, and then I'll go over the properties and why I use what I use, and then we'll cut the fire off. That'll give it. It's been cooking for almost. It's been cooking for 20 minutes, and then we'll proceed on. But my recipe that I have followed for the last couple of years, I had another YouTube channel, and I made just the basic recipe. This year, I'm kind of boosting it up. There's different ways that I know probably if you're watching this video, you've probably seen different videos out there. The reason that I make my recipe and the way that I make my recipe, I'll explain it. But I do not have, I have a garden, but I do not have an elderberry tree or bush. And way I get my elderberries, they're organic. They're from Star West Botanicals, and they're organic. It's a kosher certified. They go through all the proper channels to make sure that it's safe. There are no leaves, there are no stems or anything. You might, if you look in the elderberries, they're dried and they are just strictly black, the sambucas. Black elderberries that you would buy in the store, that you see, that I was taught in school, the type to buy. They are wonderful. I'm making a double batch, and to kick it up, to make it more immune boosting, I'm also, what I purchased is Astragalus root. Astragalus root I also purchased from the Star West Botanicals. It is also organic, and the reason that I knew about this last year was going to make a batch, and I just with everything going on, I just didn't make it. I did tincture some Astragalus, and I couldn't tell one way or another. I mean, I just couldn't tell. I mainly did it for my husband because he was working all the time and he was around a lot of people. He said that, yeah, okay, you know. But this time I'm going to make it, and if you'll see right now, I have added a half a cup in with my double batch, and it is just a wonderful herb. Astragalus is in with mostly, a lot of people take it with their capsule. They take it in the capsule form, in a vitamin form, and a lot of people say that it is like a powerhouse supplement, and they love it. I'm going to read to you a little bit about Astragalus. There's the warnings are there's no known warming. It's very warming, and it's moistening to your system. It's an adaptogenic. It's a traditional Chinese medicine, a boost of energy, strength in your immunity. I take it, and it's just part of some of my supplements that they just added in there, and it's very helpful for people with heart disease, or if your heart is weakened in any way. It provides relief for any kind of symptoms with your heart. It boosts your immune system tremendously. It helps people with their healing in their wounds. Astragalus is also very helpful for people who have allergic reactions and people with asthma. So that's why I take it, because I have had asthma in the past. So I very, very nice to hear that. So it talks about different ways that you can take it. Astragalus is just great overall in helping in that way. So back to the recipe, I put in a whole, and I make sure everything that I use is organic. I do a whole, and this is me, I put in a whole tablespoon of organic ground cinnamon. And I put in the raw, which is, I put in the ginger root. I put in probably about that much, what I call a thumb's worth. That's a thumb's worth. I cut it up and I just put it in there in the pot. But I also put in the ground powdered organic, a tablespoon. And of course we have to put in your ground cloves. And you could put in the whole cloves, and I would put in maybe just about a teaspoon, but I put in a tablespoon of the ground powder cloves. And I make sure all of my spices or herbs, whatever you want to call them, are organic. And I see people that say you have to do it for a whole hour because, you know, there could be something in the stems. That's not true. That's why I was trying to explain, you're just using the berries. So you only have to do this for 20 to 30 minutes because the longer you cook it, you're taking the medicinal properties out of it. So for a cup, you're gonna use 4 to 5 cups of water for, and I do the old folk remedies, so I don't use I don't do exact measurements. So I do like about 2 cups of berries, and I'll have extra because I'm making some for family and friends. And I do this for my household to keep us all throughout the winter because we just use this during the winter. So what I do, and I use for every cup or so, I use a cup of, I don't use any kind of cane sugar. I also use stevia leaf powder organic, which is green. It's not white. Stevia is not really white. I know I use liquid stevia like in my coffee in the morning, but I'm trying to get away from that and just go to the Star West Botanicals, which is the only place I can find real raw organic leaf, because I'm trying to grow my own stevia where you can do it just like you do your regular plants. Stevia is a plant, and you can ground it up in your mortar and pestle like this. You can do stevia and ground it up and put it in your, you can sweeten it just like you can sweeten honey in your coffee. I love coffee and I love tea, both. But stevia is not supposed to be white. And I know a lot of people say, well, that's the only way I can find it in the grocery store. And I'm going to show you how stevia is supposed to look. That's stevia. And I don't know if you can see it, but it's green because it's a plant, it's a leaf. And it's super sweet. It is really sweet, and it's really good for you. This is the way we're supposed to eat sweet stuff, stevia. Oh, and it smells, just to smell that powder, is, you got a sweet taste in the back of your throat. But anyway, that's the way I'm going to be making my, syrup today. I'm going to read a little bit of the, that's basically all my recipe. Elderberries is an antiviral, and elderberries is a mild laxative. I bet you didn't know that. It's also the fruit, and it's very cooling, it's very drying, it's decongestant, it's anti-inflammatory. If you take on a normal basis, which I think most everybody should, take a a probiotic. It helps your probiotic because it helps with, it's an anti-inflammatory. So if you're taking this during the cold and flu season, it's really good with, helps fight your inflammation in your body. And anytime the onset of a cold tries to come in, it's gonna fight that cold so hard and so fast. And we all have cancer cells in our body, but it's going to tell those cancer cells to shut off. I mean, you're going to have some cancer cells. Everybody has cancer cells. But they've done studies on this to where it turns the bad cancer cells off. So it's an anti-nausea. You know, it kind of helps, like, you know, you may have something bad going on in your body. So it's really good. It's so nutritive to your body. It's so nutritious to your body. And like that's why I don't really like sugar. I'm so anti-sugar. Is people look at me and they go, yes, I eat sugar. And I'm like, get off the sugar. But we need to really appreciate what's going on. It's used on a daily basis. People use it to help fight the flu, and the cancer research that's being done on this is just totally awesome. I love elderberry syrup. I make it every year for my family. My husband, he's like, yes, I take my elderberry syrup. You know, and you can give this, if you're pregnant, you can take this. If your kids need it, you can give it to your kids. It's just such a wonderful, let's go ahead and turn this off, and we'll go ahead, and I'm gonna add 1 cup of water because it steams so much. And so we're gonna add an extra cup of water, and let me just say right now, don't use regular tap water. Use some water that has not been chlorinated. I always try to add that in because water has to be, I don't really like people saying you have to use distilled water, because distilled water has no nutrition in it. If you use some clean, I like some kind of spring water or reverse osmosis, something that's cleaned all of the chlorine. You just want the chlorine out of your water, and that's good. That's really good. But what you want to do is you want to just add a little extra water in here so that, because you boiled about a cup of water off of here, and that puts your water back in, plus it helps kind of cool it off. You're going to add, after it cools off, you're going to add your honey in here. And what we're going to do is we are going to filter all of the elderberries off, hopefully without making a mess. I sometimes have a problem doing that. We're going to pray, move all this stuff out of the way. I hope you can see. But I think most people know how to strain off. If my camera's not showing you, hopefully you can just hear it. That's why I've got my beautiful apron on today, because I have a tendency to make a mess. Yay! Hopefully this is really hot. I'm not a very good editor, so I try to tell everybody, you know, I'm gonna reach over here because I knew I was gonna have more than enough. And I'm just gonna put this back in there. This is gonna take more than what I thought. Yep. So we're gonna have more than enough. And that's okay, because I knew this was gonna be a lot. I've made a double batch for a reason. And sometimes you do this because you're making it for friends and family. This time of year is gift giving time, and they don't mind getting something that's going to help them say, well, you know, sometimes people go to the store and they see how expensive this stuff is, and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe it's so high. And really, after you buy your jars and everything, I mean, this stuff is really expensive for a reason. And I know why it's expensive, because this stuff that you can get at Star West Botanicals is not really that expensive, because if you can make this, and I mean, just for your family, it's not really that expensive. But for the stores, I mean, for the other people, I know why it's expensive. Now, if you put your honey in here, you're gonna see it's gonna melt really fast. But you really kind of want to let it cool off. Another way that you can do this is you can put Echinacea in here if you don't want to use the Astragalus. And I may do another video on that. But for right now, I'm just going to set this aside, because I think, let me see if I can get all that strained through there. Yeah, I have a little bit that I can set this aside. Yeah, that's going to be okay. This is going to make a big mess. That's okay. Okay. So, this right here is a little too hot. I'm going to wait 10 minutes. So, I'm going to just pull out my Echinacea. This is a tincture, and this is just a couple of months old. And you can actually, if you wanted to, pour this Echinacea tincture, but I'm not going to, because I think that would be too much. But if this did not have the Astragalus in it, I could actually, I don't want to do it when it's really hot like this, but after, we'll say 10 minutes went by, you could pour this Echinacea. This is actually probably more than, this might be about a cupful right here. And this would be okay at about a cupful. But with this amount, I mean, if this was just one batch, I would put about half a cup. And a tincture, if you don't know what a tincture is, it's alcohol-based Echinacea. Most people know what a tincture is. But anyway, you could add this to boost up this syrup, and then put your honey in after you put your alcohol-based. But you want to wait till it cools off for about another 10 minutes. And you can just sit here and stir this. And then add your honey. And then, the Echinacea and the elderberry will do, it has different properties. And I should do a different video on talking about what Echinacea does and elderberry. But Echinacea is another good herb to use this time of year. You can only use it for about, I would say for about a month. And then, but there are some different safety. I'm just going to do a video on Echinacea and elderberry. It is a good immune boosting, but back in the 80s, people used to go crazy over just the pills, Echinacea, and they used to go crazy over the tincture. But there's different warnings and there's different precautions that need to be taken. It's great. I see people using it all the time, but they abuse the warnings. They don't listen to the warnings, and they take it for long periods of time, and you're not supposed to take it for long periods of time. That's why I don't really like to use it. And there's different pregnancy warnings, and that's why I like to just stick with this right here. I don't really like to mix it in unless I know it's somebody in my family that I can control, because Echinacea is a great herb. It's a great tea. And elderberry, I see it's on the shelf at the grocery stores. I see elderberry and Echinacea all year long on the shelf. And I'm like, really? That's not good. In my opinion, as an herbalist, it's not good, because it needs to only be on the store shelves for a certain time of year. That's my opinion as an herbalist. But you know, you have to let everybody make their own decision. And so we've been sitting here now, and I think it's going to be okay to go ahead and put this in. And I hope I didn't confuse anybody, but I hope I warned some people about Echinacea. Echinacea is a fantastic immune boosting herb, and I use it a lot. I really do. I love Echinacea. Echinacea is actually help fight off, because it acts as an antibiotic in the body, and I use it a lot. But I always use I put the caution out, don't overuse it, because then when you do need it, it's not going to be there as strong and as potent as you want it. So let's remember to use it with caution. Let's get back to the recipe, okay? Because we're making elderberry syrup today. Now I'm going to put in a cup of this, and then we're going to, and actually, you know what? I'm going to need probably another cup, because I just realized we're making a double batch. So that's okay. I'll go get some more honey. But for the sake of this video, we're going to do a cup for right now, because I need to wrap up this video. So if you're making a double batch, you're going to need 2 cups. If you're making one batch, you're going to just need one. But that's okay. I'm going to go get that here in a minute when I wrap up this video. So if you are wanting to do not stevia but regular sugar, this is just an option. You don't have to. If you have a diabetic in your family, please use stevia. And this cup of raw, unfiltered, local honey, get a beekeeper, or get somebody in your area that has honey. If you have a vegan, they are not going to want honey in there, trust me. I have a vegan in my family, and she would not touch this with a 10-foot pole because of the honey. They look at honey as cruel to the bees. So actually, stevia would be right up their alley because it's a plant. Or they would want some kind of pure cane sugar. I have sugar up there that I haven't touched in 2 years. But I do make jams, and I do make jellies, and I do use a little bit of organic sugar for the jams, and I sell the jams. I am kosher, so I try not to use the amount that they recommend. So anyway, I'm giving y'all way too much information. So we're going to use a half a cup. I'm actually going to start out with a 1/3 of a cup of stevia. I'm not even going to go that half a cup. I'm going to use a 1/3 of a cup because stevia is super, super sweet. And so we're going to actually just go underneath. And we're gonna see if that's enough, because it may be too sweet. I'm telling y'all, this stuff is super sweet. And then, because it's hot, it will really melt and take on that flavor with the honey and be nice and sweet. And I know y'all are looking at my back and I'm sorry, but we are gonna just get this nice and stirred up. I've got some really good bottles over here. These are my bottles that I got. Are they not cute? I think they're adorable with my little funnel. So that's what we're gonna do here in just a minute. And I'm gonna try to taste it before I put any more in there. I think y'all have the gist of this. My video is running kind of long. I think the last time I made this recipe, it went really long too, and I'm gonna just try to shut it off now, because all I have to do is label it and pour it into these bottles. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and say goodbye. Y'all have the gist of the recipe. I'll link the recipe below, and I will show a picture of the final project. But for now, I wish you the best of health, and I'm really so glad that y'all came on today. This is Garden of Herbs. This is Roxana. Make sure to make you and your family a great elderberry syrup. I'll think about whether I really want to get together with the Echinacea and the elderberry syrup. And if I do, I will get it together. I have so much going on. Remember, we want to boost our immune system, take the appropriate precautions, support our immune system, and most of all, let's stay happy, okay? And stay away from the negative mindset. Remember, if you think happy thoughts and do happy things, that's gonna bring the immune system up. Don't stay in the negative mindset. The negative mindset will bring you down. And do your prayers and just think happy thoughts. I know it's hard in today's society and all the things that are going on, but if you dwell on the bad and if you think, oh, woe is me, and all that kind of stuff, it will bring you down. It will bring you into a stressful mindset. And those kinds of things do weigh heavy on our body, and it will bring you all the way to the bed, and it will make you think terrible things. We want to think joyful thoughts. We want to think happy things. And we want to smile and bring other people around us happy thoughts. And just think, you know, get plenty of sunshine and turn the lights on and think happy thoughts. This is a proven scientific study. To be mindful of what's going on around us is good, but also to be happy, be joyful, and boost our immune system at the same time, okay? All right, that's what I'm gonna leave you with. And remember, make your elderberry syrup. Okay, this is Roxana signing off. I hope you like and subscribe to my channel, and leave me a comment. Let me know if this was helpful to you. And y'all have a blessed day. Bye-bye.